Self-awareness strategies. The first one I want to talk about today is the strategy of intentionality. And intentionality in terms of broaching your first attempt at being self-aware. So, a key strategy in becoming more self-aware is in mindfulness. It's in mindfulness. A key strategy in self awareness is mindfulness. And in fact, right, um, everything begins with mindfulness. Everything begins with mindfulness. And by mindfulness, what I mean is paying attention. By mindfulness, what I mean is being mindful of your self talk and being mindful that we don't see the world in a way that we believe it exists. We view the world through our own vantage point. And every person that we encounter is a fragment of us. And the way that we interact with the world is based on our own self concept. If you love yourself, if you trust yourself, if you like yourself, if you know yourself, you will have positive encounters throughout the day. If you know yourself, if you love yourself, if you feel good about yourself, you are going to assume that everybody that you run into is treating you nice. You're going to assume that everything goes your way. You're going to operate out of the world is here to support my needs, dreams, and goals. So therefore, everybody in my personal space, everybody that I encounter as a fragment of me, they treat me amazing. If I go shopping, I get discounts. I get upgrades when I travel. I get freebies. I get, amazing service and treatment because everybody is a fragment of me. I was saying the other day that if I worked in retail for any big company, I would be giving away anything I could. If somebody bought two or something, I will only charge them for one. If somebody bought three or something, I will only charge them for one. If somebody had a return, I would give them more back than what they paid for it. If somebody needed a bag, instead of charging them the damn 10 cents, I would give them two bags and I would give them one of their things for free. Like if I worked for any of these big corporations and I especially worked in retail, I don't give a shit where it would be. I would be making sure that I would be trying to help out the consumers. Because what I know for sure is that all these companies is stealing from all of us. They stealing from every last one of us. And that's the whole point, right? And so I think about like how everywhere I go, people just treat me so nice. I get the most amazing service. I get more than what I asked for. I really get like everybody's friendly to me. And that's because of how I am. That's because I love myself. I know myself. I trust myself. I'm an amazing, kind, funny, brilliant, sensitive, um, giving, generous, loyal, honest person, full of integrity and love, right? Full of energy and resilience and strength and power and balance, right? Like that's who I am. So that means everybody that I encounter, that's how they're going to appear to me. They're going to appear balanced and honest and loyal, and they're going to appear good to me because I don't have any reason to believe that anybody is not going to treat me amazing. I don't have any reason to believe that all people are liars or all people are dishonest or everybody trying to get over, or I don't have any reason to believe that because that's not my world. That's not my world. My entire life I have treated everybody that I have encountered with love, decency, and respect. I've never tried to harm a person on purpose. I've never tried to manipulate a person. I've never tried to steal from a person. Like, I mean, yeah, I got two bunches of kale, and the kale was $5.99. I didn't charge myself for both ones when I went through that self checkout. But who gives a fuck? Because no way kale should cost six motherfucking dollars for 8 leaves of kale. It shouldn't. And it was $7 because it was $6.99. It shouldn't. But I've never done anything to hurt anybody. And where kale grows like literally 2 miles from my house, and I go to a store that's 10 miles from my house, and they charging me $7 for the shit. Other than that, like I'm an honest person, and I don't believe in any way at all. I do not believe um in harming people. I don't believe in hurting people. I don't believe in manipulating people. I don't believe in using people. I don't believe in um advantaging myself over another person, especially if I'm giving nothing. And so when I think about relationships in my own life, right, that I've had to um end, the biggest part was because the person wasn't self-aware, and they weren't self-aware, and so they could not be mindful of how they were showing up. They weren't mindful of how they want to show up. All I ever want to be is a good person. And to me, my definition of a good person is a person that's honest, a person that's loyal, a person that's generous, a person that's kind, a person that is patient, a person that's compassionate and forgiving, a person that's authentic, that person that has empathy and curiosity, and all of that, right, takes self-awareness, right? People can talk a good game about who they are and what they can do, but at the end of the day, it shows up in who you are as a person. Like, do you commit, and once you agree to do something, do you do it? Are you a person of your word? Like, yes or no? Um, do you always think about how you could manipulate somebody, how you could fleece somebody, how you could get over? Are you always thinking about what other people have and being jealous? What are you thinking about, and what is your self-talk? I think about one time a person told me that they were jealous of me. And that shit stopped me in my motherfucking tracks. Because if I don't know anything, one thing I know is you cannot fuck around with people who are jealous of you. If you are in a relationship with somebody who tells you they are jealous of anything about you, anything that you have, the way you look, your relationship, if a person tells you they are jealous, you need to run. You need to get the hell away from them. And the reason that you need to get the hell away from a person that tells you anything negative about themselves, I'm jealous, I'm lazy, I'm a procrastinator, I'm a hater, I'm whatever, whatever. You need to listen. Maya Angelou told us a long time ago, when a person tells you who they are, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. But what we tend to do, as human beings, we tend to trust people. We tend to want to believe the best in people. And so if somebody says that they are lazy, or they say that they are a procrastinator, or they say that, they're a liar, or whatever they tell you about themselves, you don't need to say to yourself, well, they might have be like that with other people, but they're not going to be like that with me. Because that was my biggest mistake. I literally had a person tell me everything they do is intentionally. They told me they was a procrastinator. They told me they do everything at the last minute. They told me that they are lazy about simple, easy things. That I'm like, why would you be lazy about that? And it just didn't dawn on me that in our relationship that I was going to see them same traits. And all I kept seeing in the relationship was myself. Oh, they're smart. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're like I never saw all these traits. Even though they told me about the traits, I didn't see them. I ain't see them. And guess what? Cuz I wasn't looking, but all the evidence, literally, the person was not lying when they said they was lazy. The person was not lying when they say they do everything last minute. The person was not lying when they said they was really good at manipulating people. The person was not lying about any of those traits and personal characteristics that they shared about themselves, that they had been telling me about. They weren't lying. They was 100% accurate. And it took me 2 years of being in a relationship to realize, like, oh shit, they damn was straight up about everything. And the most honest thing I think they said to me that um I frankly was disappointed in myself that I didn't listen earlier. Was they told me that everything they do is intentional. And that was not something this person said to me one time or 10 times, but they said it a lot. So that means you intentionally lied to me. That means you intentionally told me you was going to do something that you didn't do, right? Intentionally you showed up as the person that you wanted to show up as, and it didn't matter um what was the what's up, because you say everything you do is intentional. So if everything you do is intentional, then you also intentionally like did me how you did me in a relationship. And when I tell you, like, I try to, like, people say a lot that, the way that you treat people, first of all, it's a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And I definitely know that because I treat everybody that comes into my life the way I want to be treated. Period. End of story. I don't treat anybody. It's today Tuesday. Yep. So it's crowded. I don't know why I did this again. Came the wrong way. Um, the way I treat people in my life is I treat people like I want to be treated. So that means that I treat everyone like I want to be treated, no different. So I treat everybody with kindness and generosity and all of that because that's how I want to be treated. Like, I don't know no different. Like, I don't know how to treat people fucked up. I only know how to treat people good. And I'm always aware of not only, like how I treat people, but I'm aware of, my own behavior. And so part of my strategy for life, but more particularly, right, for the people that I have in my life that I want to be in a relationship is I treat them people like with value and care because I care about them. So if I think about like somebody telling me everything they do is intentional, but they don't call me on my birthday. They don't even send me a birthday text message. They don't ask, about me really, right? Or like whatever. They only are talking to me or interacting with me from the standpoint of, me doing something for them. And so I had to really look at like how this person's character traits really impact me. And I decided that I couldn't handle the negative impact no more. And because I'm not a person that's all about, you know, trying to tell people how to change, um, I was like, I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna do me, and I'm not going to have any any sort of whatever um with the person. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. Like, and one of the things that I found so fucking fascinating was that the person literally sent me an email talking about they not sure why the relationship is over. Like, are you kidding me? You told me that everything you do is intentional. So either everything you do is intentional or it's not. Period. Either everything you do is intentional or it's not. There's no other whatever you want to call this. There's no excuse. There's no whatever. If you tell me everything you did is intentional, and in our relationship, I can point to something fucked up that you did every week of the relationship, of the entire relationship. I can point to something that you did that was fucked up. Um, 9 out of 10 times, it was you saying you was gonna do something that you didn't do, It was you not showing up, which again is you not doing something that you said you was gonna do. And I just decided like, I'm good. I am good. I am no longer no longer, period, no longer going to no longer going to like allow myself to be treated like that. Like number one, I have really, really, really do love myself a lot. I really, really do like myself a lot. Like I do. I really, really, really do. And um I like myself so much. I like myself so much that I don't stay um in relationships that I guess I'll go this way. I don't stay in relationships that don't serve me. The second I see that somebody don't like me, oh, I'm out. I'm out. It don't take me a long time. But it does take me a long time to see sometimes the bad in people. It does take me a long time sometimes to see somebody being a manipulator. It does take me a long time to see somebody being a liar. And the reason is a multifold. It's partially because I'm always focusing on my own self and trying to be the better version of me. So as I'm focusing on my own self and trying to be the better version of me, I'm not monitoring other people, telling them what to do. I'm not, you know, focusing on how other people act, right? I'm literally trying to be the better version of me. So for me to be the better version of me, that means I have to focus and concentrate on me. So if I'm focused and concentrating on me, then no, I don't have time to focus on you. I do not have time to focus on what you're doing. But if we are in a relationship, right, then the points at which we have things that we're doing together, I expect you to show up for your shit because I'm always showing up for my shit. And if I'm basically always carrying the whole relationship because I'm doing 90%, and then the little 10% that you are doing, you doing that at a fucking 50% capacity, I mean, that's just not going to last for a long time. And for as much as I have, you know, affection, for people, I have way more affection for myself. As much as I have, you know, love and desire to have people in my life, I have way more desire for peace and happiness and joy. And peace and happiness and joy gets interrupted by other people, not enhanced by other people. And if there is ever any old kind of you know thing, literally it's related and goes back to self-awareness. So what's interesting when I think about all the different relationships I've had in my life, in every relationship, right, that I ended every relationship except for one significant relationship in my entire life. And that, and it was funny because then when the person came back in my life, then I ended it. But I've ended every significant relationship and insignificant. I've ended the relationships. I've decided for myself, boom, I'm done with every single relationship that has ended in my life. All of them. Unless somebody died, like, one of my best friends died or whatever. But like, I ended these relationships because I am not, am not going to be the person, in any way that's going to be putting up with being mistreated. And I don't care who it is, I'm not going to allow it. And the thing I'm definitely not going to be is gaslit. I'm not going to be gaslit, and I'm not going to be bullshitted into nonsense. And I'm more than fine with people not liking me. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather have 3 friends and only 3 friends than to have 10 friends and only 3 of them are real friends anyway. I would rather spend all my time alone than to spend 5 minutes with a person who don't like me. And when I think about how people who have substantial lack of self-awareness don't even realize how the things they say have an impact on people. And I'm gonna tell you, when a person told me they were jealous, it stopped me in my fucking tracks. And it was like all of the other things that they had told me about themselves. It was like everything came together for me. And I was like, oh, like, damn, right? Like, everything came together for me. Everything came together for me. And it came together in such a significant way. Like, I couldn't even have fathomed how things would come together and how it just all started making so much sense. Like, literally everything the person had ever not done, things that they had said, like everything, um, it just like all the pieces, they fit together. And it was very, it was a lot. And I was like, well, damn, yeah, they've been telling me the whole time, and I just didn't listen. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Somebody tells you, I'm lazy, they mean it. If somebody said, look, I do everything at the last minute, I'm a big procrastinator, they mean it. If somebody says, I'm so good, if I wanted to, I could manipulate this person. If I wanted to, I could do this and I could do that. You better believe that they are manipulating your ass. You better believe that. And whether or not, right, you recognized it until that very moment, that's okay. And here's the other thing. Once you recognize that you're being mistreated in a relationship, you do not have to allow yourself to be gaslit into acting like it's not happening. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to gaslight yourself at all. At all. You do not have to gaslight yourself. You are allowed to um leave any relationship that does not serve you at any time and for any reason. It doesn't even have to be because you found out the person's a liar and a manipulator. It doesn't have to be for that. It don't have to be because you found out somebody stole something from you. It don't have to be because you found out somebody cheated you or cheated on you or what. It doesn't have to be for anything except for you deciding for yourself, I don't want to be in a fucking relationship. And once you decide you don't want to be in a relationship, you don't owe anybody shit. You don't owe them shit. You don't owe them shit. I think about like this relationship, one of the relationships that I ended. And when the person ended the relationship with me, they ended the relationship with me because they were, first of all, already cheating on me with somebody. And then they decided to move in and get married and marry that person. And then years later, um, they were cheating on that person and with somebody else, and years later they got broken up on. And when I think about like the relationships that I've ended, like I said, I end a relationship, every relationship I ended was because I was being mistreated. I was not being treated the way I wanted to be treated. And guess what? Not only do we treat and train people, we teach and train people how to treat us. We also are allowed to change our mind. We're allowed to grow and learn and change up how we do shit. And just because the relationship might look perfect from the outside, it doesn't mean you have to stay in it. And you also don't owe anybody an explanation. And I'm gonna tell you this too. When people mistreat you, right? You are not under obligation to keep the mistreatment a secret. You're not under the obligation for that. Of course they want you to keep it a secret because they don't want to look bad, because it might ruin their little persona, but you don't need to do that. You don't have to keep it a secret. If somebody treats you bad and you leave a relationship and everybody's wondering what's wrong, you're allowed to say, you know what, I ain't like the way I was being treated in a relationship. Oh, well, what didn't you like? I ain't like being lied to. I ain't like being taken advantage of. I didn't like being ignored and treated as a second class citizen. Whatever the case may be, you are allowed to feel how you feel, and you're allowed to take the actions that serve you best, whether or not the person thinks, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you this, and the universe works in really mysterious ways. Well, actually, it's been longer than that now. About 8 or 9 months ago, when I was writing my book, Decenter White Women, Decenter White Women, I had done a little research on narcissism and the relationship of narcissism to white supremacy, and I did a little about like research on narcissism and like the way it like shows up and how it looks or whatever. And it was funny because I was like, why did I become interested in narcissism? Because I'm like, I'm not even around that many people. I didn't really imagine that I was around, narcissistic people or whatever, because but then I had like an issue with all these like white women and all this stuff, right? So I'm like trying to get it all figured out, whatever. um Come to find out, the person that I was in a relationship with, they are narcissists, and I didn't fucking realize it. I didn't realize it. And I think I didn't realize it because the person is very intelligent, and not only are they very intelligent, they are very savvy in their communication skills, like very, very savvy. And they are very skilled in being able to get what they want. And they're very skilled in being able to, as they said, manipulate people. And because that's not who I am, I didn't notice that I was the one being manipulated. And it wasn't until, like I said, the 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 thing that really hit it for me was when they told me they were jealous of me. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, damn it, Vonda. Can't be fucking around with nobody that's jealous of you. You already know that, blah 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 blah. And it just really it said a lot for me. It helped me so much. Because it helped me to be able to know, like, yeah, I still have some things in me that are really rooted in me not being a healed person when it comes to my mother wound and relationships, that um that relationship, it really, it set me up. And so what I realize is that um there's always a part of me, unless I am mindful of it, unless I'm really paying attention, there's a part of me that is vulnerable to um people who give me attention and who give me, you know, that praise or that hit of whatever that's missing from that whole, right? And a lot of people don't recognize that strategy of self-awareness has to entail mindfulness around who we are as a result of our life experiences. I'm not a people pleaser. However, I am a person that, because of the way I am, I love doing things for people. I'm not doing it to please the people. I'm doing it because it makes me feel good to do great things for people. And at the same time, it's like I'll do great things for people and treat people in a really good way, even if they're treating me not. And that is definitely a problem, because what makes more sense, right, is that you focus on the parts of you that needs to be healed. And as you do that, you'll recognize for yourself that you don't need to be in relationships with people. You need to be in relationship with yourself. And for me, one of the things that happened was I lost a friend who died. And it was a really it was a big hole for me. And you know, it was it was traumatic because of the way that my friend died was so unexpected, and it was also a very unnecessary death. Like, car accidents and heart attacks and strokes are always a surprise, I think, for a lot of people. And when you move into your 40s and 50s, you get less surprised by heart attacks and strokes, right, from your peers. But when you lose somebody from, like, something that was not an accident, it causes you to ask yourself some questions, and it causes you to, like, have a little bit of a hole there. And it was like, and at the same time, right, then a new person came into my life that seemed to fill that hole. um and that's because I had a hole, right? It wasn't I had a hole in my life because a person died. It was a hole in me, right? In my heart, in my psyche, in my emotions, that I hadn't worked on for myself. And so if I don't work on me, then it's going to be easy for me to get into a relationship and not um have demands and requirements of a person that's going to suit me. And so what'll happen is you get into them kind of situations, and then you realize, oh, I'm giving, I was thinking about Teddy Pendergrass. So I'm giving 80% and she giving 20%. I'm giving 90% and she giving 10%. What I'm talking about, a 50-50 love. And it's like, relationships, it's not like they got to be 50-50 every single day, but damn, they shouldn't be 90-10 for 2 years. It shouldn't be like that. And at the same time, again, if somebody tells you who they are, you need to believe them. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. And the self-awareness piece is, are you aware of your own mindset and self-talk and the things that you tell yourself about everything, about relationships, about people, about your needs, wants, and desires? The question is, what are you telling yourself, right? What do you, believe, right? What do you want? What do you think? And are you knowledgeable of who you are? Are you knowledgeable of your blind spots? Like, who are you? And who do you believe that you are? And how does that stack up to other people in your life? How does that stack up to other people's life? You're like, this is who you think you are, and what does that look like to others? And I'm going to say that if everybody around you, people around you are constantly gravitating and flocking towards you, and you trying to keep your circle small, but then people keep on coming in or whatever, you need to look at what is it in you that's drawing these type of people to you. Like, the question I'm keep asking myself is, why am I drawing people to me that don't like me at all? How is it that I'm drawing people to me that are jealous of me? How am I drawing people to me that they say they want to help me or partner or work with me, and what they really want to do is use me? Like, I have to answer questions. I have to answer for myself. Like, what is it about me as this light worker, right? As this teacher, as this um consultant, as this compassionate, empathetic, authentic, and curious person? Why is it that people are drawn to me? And why is it that, they really think they can come play in my face, treat me like shit, and like this is supposed to last forever? I really don't know. I really don't know. I was thinking, like, I had a bunch of former colleagues, at a really large company, right? And this really large company, I was at this really large company for 4 years. And during my 4 years at this really large company, I worked on several high profile projects. And therefore, I know a lot of people. And a lot of people, even if they didn't know me personally, they've been in meetings where I presented, they've heard my name, they've worked on the work that I created and this and that. So I know a lot of people and a lot of people know me. And this company did a really big layoff. And when they did the big layoff, of course, they laid off a bunch of black people. And the one of the black people that was a former colleague of mine, they texted me and told me about it. And I knew the second they texted me and told me, I said, now watch. And I started in my head naming people that would reach out to me, but I knew this one person definitely would. And this person, I hadn't heard from them, ain't talked to them. And I had reached out to them a year ago in in an emergency. And I had a little emergency and I was just panicked. So this person that I thought we was friends, I thought we was way more than former colleagues, but this person didn't even respond. And then when I was like, hey, boom, 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 they were basically like, okay, well, fuck you. Like, they were like, oh, well, I didn't have my phone. My husband had my phone, but it was a bunch of bullshit. So I was like, okay, cool. You don't really like me. So, they reached out maybe like 6 months later and said, maybe they said Merry Christmas or hey, how you doing or whatever. And I think I didn't, what you call it? I deleted the contact, so I still had the number, but I forgot to block them. Because I forgot you had to do a block and then you could delete the person or whatever. But anyway, whatever the case may be, I did not get rid of them on my phone. So when this layoff happened and the first person texted me and I said, okay, well, I hope everything works out for you. Like, you tell me you got fired. I hope everything works out. They said they got a package. Great. Good for you. That's all it ain't nothing else to say. Now, that person, um, had, reached out to me, like we stayed in contact and they check in every few months. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And I check in with them. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Every couple of months, whatever. It's more them than me, but I really like this person. They really cool and whatever. The other person, I literally tried to help that person get their nonprofit off the ground and I gave them some assignments to do. They ain't doing them. I invited that person to some mastermind sessions. They ain't come. I, I tried to like support this person's, little side hustle by giving them, like tips and strategies and whatever, whatever. And they never followed through on any of it. And so I was like, okay, well then you really not that serious about your work. So wasn't really worried about it. Then, like I said, I had a little situation and I was like, reached out to the person. They ignored me. So I was like, all right, they don't really like me anyway. Then when they get fired or laid off from their job, they reaching out to me. They reached out to me on two phones and inside my app. I blocked them from both phones and I deleted them from my app. I called you and text you because I was in an emergency situation and you wouldn't even entertain the conversation. Like you didn't even try to be like, oh my goodness, how can I help or nothing? I'm not fucking with you. Number one, you don't like me. You don't like me. And if I haven't learned shit, what I have learned is that a lot of people who pretend to like you, they don't. They don't. And you don't have to wait until a person tells you they're jealous. You don't have to wait until, a person do something foul, right? Um, to end the relationship. Oh, you could do it way before that. But the thing is, right? Just because somebody going through a hard time or somebody that is on them. You don't owe nobody shit. I know people consider me like, the person like if they going through some shit, they want to call me up. Somebody got some bullshit going on. They want me to help. They want da 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 da. They want this da 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 da. I'm like this. Look, um, no, I'm good. I am not, I am not, um, that person that is, out here needing friends. I don't need any friends. I don't want any friends. I have, maybe I have two best friends, right? One of them lives in my hometown, and one of them lives in my town I live in now. And one friend I know for 40 years, one friend I know for 10 years. Guess what? I'm good. I do not care if I ever meet another friend. Because I'm going to tell you, my one friend, well, both my friends, if I do something good, if something goes great for me, they apologize. They congratulating me. If they need help, they know I'm there. If I need help, I know they there. Whether it is a conversation, whether it is just listening to me vent, whether it is, oh, hey, I lost my driver's license, so can you pick me up from the airport because I can't rent a car? Like, whatever the case may be, right? Um, they know, and I know based on the relationships of the people, like, I know that these people are my friends and that they really care about me. And I know that um they really like me. And so if I have good news and something goes good for me, then I know that these friends of mine are going to be cheering and screaming and shouting and jumping up and down. They're going to be jumping up and down and celebrating just as if it was happening to them or one of their kids. Whereas somebody that is fucking jealous of you, mm-mm-mm, they not celebrating shit. They gonna be like, okay, and they gonna say some old nasty foul bullshit. They gonna say some old nasty foul bullshit, and something under their breath or whatever that's going to demonstrate and show you that they don't really like you. So it's up to you to you know decide, yeah, I am not going to be in relationships with people that don't really like me. And I'm going to tell people that your self-awareness, right, whether you are the narcissist or the supply, right, it's still about being self-aware. And the narc supply, right, is the person that's always feeding the narcissist what they need and what they want. And a narcissist wants to be fed, like all this stuff. And what they want to be fed, their ego has to be fed, right? They have to be in control. Like, it's a lot of work to maintain relationship with narcissists. But they will totally try to gaslight you, and really take you through a lot of shit. And it's so funny, like I said, because I did not realize, the extent of how easy it is for me to get in a relationship with a narcissist. Like, it just didn't dawn on me that I could do that so easily and so often. However, it has helped me learn so much, and now I can be so much more self-aware and employ the strategies of my intentionality and have an intentional mindset in all things, but especially in relationships and especially in relationships with new people.